What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with my Week 8 wide receiver rankings. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to stick around, get all of the fantasy football content that's going to give you the edge over everyone else in your league to bring home that fantasy football championship this season. It's that simple. You want to win that championship, hit that subscribe button. Bring my weekly rankings, my waiver wire analysis each week, as well as my trade advice, all of the info you need to dominate. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. I respond to every comment, giving you guys a fantasy outlet to be able to bounce some ideas off of. And again, another way to get that advantage. But let's dive into these rankings. At number 1, Ja'Marr Chase against Philadelphia. I think Chase is in for a really good week. He gets close to double-digit targets, and this is a good matchup where I think the Cincinnati Bengals defense will not be able to stop the Eagles offense. It's so facto, the Bengals will need to score and they'll need to throw. I think Ja'Marr Chase will benefit from that, and this could be a monster game for him. 2, Justin Jefferson against the Rams. No one can stop Jefferson. 3, CeeDee Lamb against San Francisco. San Francisco's defense has not been what they had been in recent years. Tyreek Hill against Arizona. He's right back in the top 5 with Tua likely to start. Obviously, if Tua sits, massive downgrade, but it sounds like Tua is ready to roll, and Tyreek is right back in your lineups with massive expectations. Number 5, A.J. Brown plays Cincinnati. A.J. Brown's an absolute stud, and I think that would be a high-scoring game, as I said. 6, Drake London against Tampa Bay. He's been producing like an absolute star recently. Definitely taking that tier jump to me into one of those elite guys. And in a matchup against Tampa Bay, you're definitely starting him. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tough matchup against Tennessee, but it doesn't matter with a guy like that. You're going to roll him out there. They're going to move him around formations, get him into the slot. As long as Tennessee can keep up a little bit, I think this will be a really good game for Amon-Ra St. Brown regardless. I think he's got a good chance at 70 and a touchdown just about every week. T. Higgins has been getting a ton of targets besides Ja'Marr Chase in this offense for the past several weeks now, and in this good matchup, again, he's a top 10 play. That's how much I like both these guys, the situations they're in, and this matchup. And then 9, Jane Reed against Jacksonville, a great matchup for him, and I still think brighter days are ahead. I still view him as a top 10 receiver heading into the rest of this season, but honestly, if he doesn't put up a big week this week, I'll have to adjust expectations just with the kind of mediocre weeks he's had here recently. But I think he is going to take that next step up in this really prime matchup against Jacksonville and their weak defense. Number 10, Malik Neighbors against Pittsburgh. We saw last week against the Eagles, the Giants' offense just really couldn't do anything about their defensive line, and then they bracketed Neighbors, took him out of the game, and they couldn't do anything. I worry that teams will continue to play this coverage versus Neighbors moving forward. I think brighter days are ahead. I think he'll have a better game against Pittsburgh. But maybe adjust your expectations from some of those 100-yard, well over 100-yard plus games, 2 touchdown games he was having earlier. But he's a good receiver, a wide receiver 1 rest of the season, who I think has a really good chance at like 80 yards a game because based off usage. And yeah, I think he's still going to be a really good player. Kupp against Minnesota. If he's back, I am playing him. Only 4 extra days of rest, but they said they were holding him out mainly to get him back to his top peak performance level. And in a matchup against Minnesota, their secondary has been poor. I'm playing Kupp if I have him. Deebo Samuel, another guy. If he's healthy, he's got a pneumonia-like illness, just released from the hospital yesterday. But if he's healthy, I'm playing him in this Dallas matchup. I think he's going to be really good. Seen him dominate against Dallas in the past, and with the depth chart around him right now, he is locked and loaded, ready to go as a target hog. 13, Devontae Adams against New England. Rough first game with him on the Jets, but I expect him to be better moving forward, and he has that connection with Aaron Rodgers, so I'm not worried about him having to redevelop that or anything like that. 14, DJ Moore against Washington. Really bad secondary there. 15, George Pickens against the Giants. Russ looks to be really good for him. I thought it would be better deep balls down the field. It gives him kind of a chance. And I think just some of the other balls in general, just being closer to George Pickens, giving him the chance to make some plays. I think Russ had looked pretty solid for his first game back in a long while. Giants secondary is pretty mediocre. 16, Amari Cooper against Seattle with the Buffalo Bills. He already looked good in his first week. I'm definitely playing him this week in Seattle. 17, Stephon Diggs. I do expect him to have a rough second half, or a worse second half than he did the first half. But he was great for this first half. But this Indian matchup, I think he'll be good, and I'd probably try to flip him right for this game with Nico Collins coming back around the corner potentially. Garrett Wilson against New England. I do think he takes a dip with Devontae Adams getting there, obviously, but still think you can play him. Brian Thomas Jr. against Green Bay. I'm usually much higher on Brian Thomas Jr., but it's his Green Bay defense. I think Jair Alexander will be on him since he plays on the outside and he is their number one receiver very clearly. Juwan Jennings against Dallas, you're playing him again, you have to monitor him because he didn't practice and didn't play at all last week with a hip injury. So monitor Debo, monitor Juwan Jennings heading in the week, but if they play, they're both great plays to me against Dallas. 21, Jalen Waddle against Arizona. Obviously gets a massive bump with Tua back. Devonta Smith against Cincinnati. Rough game this last week. I think he's going to be just fine, though. Marvin Harrison Jr. against Miami has really struggled. I think there are brighter days ahead for Marv, though. Second half of the season, rookie wide receivers usually do a lot better. I expect him to take some type of step forward, but it definitely hasn't been what you hoped for the second round pick. 24, Tank Dell against Indy. Tank Dell goosed hard this last week. It's tough when your quarterback only throws for 86 yards, but Tank had a few drops in that game that really could have changed his day. Just really need him to step up and be the player we know he can be. 25, Darnell Mooney is getting a ton of targets at Tampa Bay. He's got a rough secondary. Calvin Ridley with DeAndre Hopkins gone and a matchup against Detroit, that team that does not let you run the ball. I expect Ridley to be involved. 27, Zay Flowers against Cleveland. Zay Flowers monitor that ankle injury by return to the game. We'll see if he can suit up. If he does, you're probably playing him. 28, Keenan Allen against Washington. Good matchup for him. 29, Jalen McMillan against Atlanta. He's their number one. He's going to draw that coverage as well, but he'll probably be the slot receiver. Just pay attention because if he's a slot receiver, I'm definitely playing him. And then 30, Ricky Pearsall against Dallas. This guy is a name I just want to throw out here at the end of the list because watch this Juwan Jennings situation and this Deebo Samuel situation. Either of those guys miss. I think Ricky Pearsall you can play. George Kittle also dealing with injuries. Pearsall had 5 targets this last game. First round pick. A lot to like. And the thing that I just keep thinking with Pearsall is that their head coach, Kyle Shanahan, rarely misses on skill position players as far as drafting wide receivers. He's usually able to find guys and he hits on them at a really high rate. He can see guys, and he gets receivers open. So I think he can do that with Pearsall, and if he's one of the last few guys remaining there, I think you can definitely start him even this early. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section down below. I'll respond as always. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.